tell us a little bit about your story?
Well, I think that I had the blessing to have been born in a country that puts so much emphasis on beauty and external beauty and body shape and being beautiful because I'm from Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
That you grow up very self-conscious. You know, it's part of our culture. It's part of who I always tell people out of there that it's who we are. We cannot change it. You know, we grow up wanting to be Miss Venezuela, but I was always overweight. My issues with food started when my parents divorced. I was 6, but since before that, I think that food was the thing that I control. Food was the one thing that nobody could take from me. You know. Um, so I gained a lot of weight, and I think I did my first diet when I was 7. I remember we went to a pediatrician, and I started low fat, high fiber diet. And because you're a child, right? So you don't want to be eating really bad food. And on diets, while your friends are beautiful and perfect, and you look at yourself and you could see this flaw body on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, from then onwards, my weight always fluctuated. If we have a big, like when I graduated from high school, I lost quite a lot of weight. That's when I started with eating disorders, not eating for days, and then binging and doing all these mind games. So I remember I would go walk from my home to McDonald's and get a bunch of like the 20 nuggets box
Mm-hmm.
and a burger, and I will eat, and then I'll throw up, and this whole messed up game that I started, right? Um, and then I did a lot of acting. I love theater. I was a theater actress, and that made things even more messed up because I knew that I had this ideal, right? And I always had a role, and my husband always says that you were never that, but I always call myself the triple F, funny fat friend. That was my role. I will be hilarious. I will make fun of myself, but inside I was always really I was sad. I always thought that I was gonna end up alone because I was fat, because I was flawed, because I saw myself flaw. And then I was gonna study acting at the end. I studied journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to college with all these Miss Venezuela rejects, and I kid you not, on the first day when they ask you, so you're here to become a journalist, what is your dream? Most of them say, I just want to be on TV. And they were beautiful, tall, beautiful, gorgeous. And here I am, 5'3", overweight. Thank God I had good skin. I never had acne. But, and seeing myself as this reject. And so I stopped eating. I started smoking. I stopped eating. I drank massive amounts of Diet Coke, smoke a lot, not eat, and then I lost weight. And at this time, between my senior year on high school and college, I did a lot of that. So my weight fluctuated like between like 20 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
I will go whoa, 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 whoa. I had a meltdown at some point, and I was actually hospitalized for it. Um, and then I think that I just let go. I had plastic surgery when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I had breast enhancement and tummy tuck because I had lost weight so badly that they cut 30 centimeters of loose skin. I could just pull it up and go plop,
Mm-hmm.
plop, plop, plop. And a mini lipo at 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I look better, but I felt the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that look better lasted probably a year, maybe. I had a very abusive relationship in that time. I was kind of with a really, really mind controlling person. And by the time I moved to Argentina, just graduated from college, um, I have already gained probably as much, if not more, than the weight that I had when I went into surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the effort. I remember, I think that I got into surgery weighing something like 75, 78 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
And in Argentina, I got close to 90, and then I just kept escalating. In Argentina, the one thing good that happened when I lived there is that I discovered who I was. I realized I think that we might go through layers throughout life, peeling layers, and then suddenly you realize, oh, this is who I am now. And then 5 years or 2 years or whatever later, you peel another layer, and oh, this is who I am now. And that's one of the biggest layers that I discovered was there. I was single for the first time, because that's another thing that my culture has, is that not only you have to look hot, you have to look hot because you need to have a man. If you don't have a man and you are not pretty, but I was single. I was figuring out who I wanted to be in life. It was the first time that I actually start thinking of myself as more than just the shell. But I didn't care my way. I kept on smoking. I kept on eating pretty much anything on my side. And then I moved to Qatar to be with my mother. And I got into another abusive relationship. And after that, my weight was just out of control. It was probably the highest that I have been, and the most miserable. I was so depressed and so bad. So after years of trying the new fat diet, I did pineapple diet, soup diets, cabbage diet, which, by the way, I don't recommend it to anybody, especially if you're married. Ugh. I did all sorts of things. I took pills. I would convince my mom. I would be like, please, mom, please, just last time, just please take me to this doctor. Or please, let's do this treatment. Or please, let me do these massages. I had massages done that it was so hard that I had bruising all over my body for weeks, And it will be the same. I will lose 5 kilos. I will let go. I will gain weight. I will gain 10, And then this day, I remember it was November 5 years ago. So November 2010. That's it. I cannot carry on this way. I come from a broken marriage. I was in a job that was kind of dead end, but I liked. I knew that it wasn't, but everything else was just falling to pieces. And I did that set. I'm going to make this happen. And I'm going to change my diet. And I'm going to start exercising. Something that is scary because I hate it. The idea of sweating just makes me cringe. I'll go, oof, anything but sweating. But this time it wasn't, because by this day I want to have lost 50 kilos like before. This time was like, I'm just going to give myself a year. I'm just going to give myself a year to figure out what the heck is going to be my life. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Who am I going to become? And that's it. That was November. 21 December, I met my now husband. That's a different story. But anyway, in this process, I just stopped looking for the quick fix. I stopped thinking, this time I'm going to have a pill, and within 2 weeks, and I stopped Googling Kim Kardashian's latest milkshake. And I just went for, this is not working. I was taking pills for migraines pretty much every day. I was having an asthma attack in my sleep. So I would wake up with an asthma attack, searching for the Ventolin because I couldn't breathe. I was having all sorts of stomach problems. So I had colitis, esophagitis, gastritis. I had an upper ulcer, which my doctor said that within 5 years will be cancer. I had everything. And I still felt flaw. So I started changing, and it all started with normal counting calorie things. I think I read a book about calories in versus calories out, you lose weight, and that's how it started. I remember in this time, the first few months I didn't lose weight, and I was like, that's it, my body's broken. I better just get fatter and just let go and become a nun or something, like a fat, unhappy nun or something. But fortunately, by then I was dating already my now husband, Phil, and he just said, just push a little bit harder. Just before you go to a doctor, just stay there. Just carry on. I started training from 0 times per week to 5 times per week, 2 to 3 hours. I started liking it. I started feeling, okay, this is happening. And then the weight started to come off. And within almost 2 years, I have lost 25 kilos. But it was good because this time I didn't have a timeline. I didn't have by this day you have to be thin. I really need to look and feel as I want to feel. I hadn't changed anything of my mind thing, but I think I was better. Anyway, I got engaged. In this process, as I started losing weight and changing my diet, it was really the flaw that I see now is the fact that I was still eating these packets, these 100 calories packs, because to me, calories were all that matter. So I will have this skinny cow treat. I will count all my calories and stuff, which wasn't very fun. But I love doing it because, again, food was my control. I couldn't control everything. I couldn't control the fact that my fiance lived really far from me. I couldn't control the fact that when we were planning our wedding, our priest died. I couldn't control so many. I know. Funky. I know. I couldn't control so many things, but I could control my calorie intake. And that's what I focus all my energy. And I control it really, really well. I had all these apps and stuff. And I was like, that's it. This is it. I'm done. I still took pills. I didn't take as many as before. My asthma had improved a lot, but my diet wasn't perfect. Anyway, then I met Nicole Van Hatten, who was my health coach in that process when I was planning my wedding and leaving Qatar and quitting and doing all these things. And she kind of gave me an extra push because she kind of moved me from calories are all that matter, you need to look thin, to substance, real food matters more, try different things. And then I started just getting, I think I get very intense. It's like when I did theater, I will do theater, I will leave theater, it was like theater. And then when I got into this, it was like wellness, woohoo! And if you see my Facebook, it goes from like very artificial things like cats and stuff, and then it's like wellness. And now that I'm a mom, it's like motherhood. So I think that I just get very intense. And I just started watching documentaries. We all started, my whole family. My mom has a condition called Jorgen syndrome, among other couple of things, which is an autoimmune condition. And just when I got married, I moved out of Qatar into Abu Dhabi with my husband. We decided that we're going to leave Abu Dhabi and we're going to go to the UK and all this process. My mom says, why don't you come with me to my doctor, to my rheumatologist, just to see if there's something we could do. And this was the key. This was the beginning of my change. I have already enrolled to study in IIN to become a wellness coach, but I wasn't completely there yet. I was still thinking that all you needed to do is thin. You needed to be fit, right? And that time, that doctor was amazing. And he actually told us, well, try to add more antioxidants and stuff. And down the rabbit hole I went. From there, in IIN, it just started a slow process of me realizing the importance of nourishment and nutrients within our health and within our everything, right? So it all started like that. And then when we were 3 months married, I was pregnant. And so, yeah, I had a really uncomplicated pregnancy, happy pregnancy, everything. And my son was born, and I had really, really low milk supply. I had postnatal depression. And suddenly the one part of my body that was always to blame for my weight, but was never found guilty, like the OJ part of my body, my thyroid finally came out positive as not working well. So after pretty much, I think, 20 years wishing for my thyroid to be the one to blame, because that was the one that all doctors always said, you're fat because your thyroid is not working, but we cannot find it. This time they found it, and they diagnosed me with Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune hypothyroid. And that was it. My son by 6 weeks was malnourished because as a first-time mom, I didn't know that he was not skinny. He was really just under calories. And I didn't want to give him formula. So we started supplementing. That roller coaster my postnatal depression even worse, because I felt like I was failing him and failing my husband and failing my whole family. How could I be a wellness coach when I couldn't even feed my son naturally? I gained weight. So I didn't gain much weight when I was pregnant. I actually gained 12 kilos from week 2 of having him to week 12. So in 10 weeks, I gained all that weight. My body went just berserk. And I think that was the last push I needed. That's when I went from being a health coach, focused on primary foods, to being a I don't know, badass wellness coach focusing on every nutrient that you need and every part of your life that needs to be aligned for you to truly feel well. And that's when my approach changed completely to my holistic nourishment approach, which is what I do now. Um, and so there I was, first time mom, everything was perfect. I was living back in Qatar where I wanted to live with a fantastic husband, a beautiful baby that was now gaining weight thanks to formula. Still breastfeeding. I'm still today breastfeeding, even though I'm pregnant. We kept doing it. But I was completely miserable. I was planning to leave my husband. I was Googling how to leave my husband a newborn. And I wanted to become a nun again. The nun thing comes back and forth. And I'm just going to join a nunnery. And I had all these plans that I was going to leave them because I couldn't find a way to function as a mother. And then one day when my son was around 8 months, my husband confronted me and he said, I think that you have postnatal depression. Don't take it the wrong way, but I really think we need to do something about it. And suddenly it was like, oh yeah, so motherhood doesn't suck. Oh wow. And it all started changing. I started doing nutrient therapy for this. I started seeing a coach myself, sorting myself out. And today, when my son is 23 months, and I'm pregnant with number 2, things are completely different. I think the thing is that for the first time now, I can see that the thing is not, the value is not on what I do or how much I weigh or the size of my pants, but in me. In all this, I'm still a work in progress. I think we're all work in progress. There's still a lot of guilt. There are moments where I see Matthew naked and I go, oh, it was so freaky, we could have lost him. There are moments where people ask me, are you going to tandem nurse? And I'm like, dude, I barely could nurse this one. I don't know if I'm, but now I don't look for perfection because that's the thing. I wanted the perfect body or the perfect boyfriend or the perfect life. Well, I'm never going to have it because I'm already there. I'm already perfect. This is perfect. Perfect is weighing more with this pregnancy than with Matthew, but feeling better. Perfect is screwing it up sometimes. And perfect is eating sometimes gluten-free junk because it's the best option. My husband says the best available option in an imperfect world. And this is the thing. We live in an imperfect, flawed world. And perfect has become accepting it and letting go and saying, all right, let's just roll with it. So my journey has taken me to freaky places. I had never imagined that I would become an advocate for depression in womanhood and for the importance of women mental health and awareness and men mental health, everybody's mental health. I never in my life imagined that I will become an advocate for breastfeeding and that I will be writing passionately about the need for it to make sure that our kids have the optimal chances to have the best gene expression they can. I never in my life imagined that I would end up reading about genetics and epigenetics and the importance of nourishment. But here I am. And I love it. And I love the fact that my depression, my struggles, my issues, my cries, my kilos, my diets, my craziness is what is enabling me to help others, to help moms, to help women, to help men, to help kids, to help anybody who will listen to regain the control of their wellness and their life and their health, and to say, well, that's it. Life is more than this, because we all deserve big, beautiful, healthy, nourished lives. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I always thought that I could only have the perfect life if I waited this, if I was thin enough or nice enough or sweet enough or smart enough, or if I was just perfect enough. And now I just realized that I am enough. I have always been enough. And I have a message, and I am very passionate about it. And I am in your face or vocal about it, because I do think that we need to take back our health. We need to take back our life, and we need to make sure that we carry on with evolution. We need to stop with this dragging ourselves around life and around health when we deserve more than that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me.
What is the type of people that come looking for you in the journeys you're
Um,
creating?
Mostly women. I'm very selective. I only work with women, and I tend to choose mostly moms. Because I live in Qatar, my one-on-one clients tend to be that moms, especially young moms that are kind of my in my situation. They have kids, but they don't just want to be moms. They don't just want to be housewives, but they're just in that transitioning right now. But I'm opening up more to just empowering more women. So that's probably my thing.
Okay, and what rewards you the most with this practice now?
I love I love the opportunity to enlighten an aha moment, to start an aha moment. I love when I say something and suddenly a client, a Facebook follower, whoever just goes, "Oh wow," because we need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hear something on the radio, a song or whatever, and I go, "Oh wow." So I like to ignite those aha moments in others.
You enjoy their faces when they something clicks
Yeah,
and everything comes
you know
through.
what? I really love talking to others about how easy it is to let go of the things that we think that are really hard. And when you break paradigms and when you tell them doctors are just professionals, you know yourself better than anybody else, and they go, "Oh, hang on a minute, that might be yeah, but
That might be
I
true.
like that. Yeah, that might be true."
Yeah, there you go. And what challenges you the most with clients? What is the hardest part?
I think the ownership part. I think we are so used to our culture is so used to always blaming outside. So you blame the doctors, or you blame the lack of doctors, or you blame the pill, or you blame the government. You always have someone to blame. And it is when you tell them that's it. It's your life, it's your diet, it's your body, it's your problem. So you have to man up and or woman up or whatever and start changing things. And they go, "No, but," and there are moments that I'm very rough and I'm like, "No, I mean, if you're gonna come with excuses, you're wasting your time and mine. You need to come knowing that it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be fun. So carry on."
Okay, it's a tough approach.
Well, sometimes you have to, because I am very funny and loving and all that, and I can be very nourishing, but I'm not gonna babysit anybody. I only babysit my son. I'm not gonna be. I mean, yes, it's true. You can eat McDonald's from time to time, and you're gonna no. If you eat rubbish, you're gonna feel like rubbish. Your body is worth more than that. So it's that. Yeah,
Little slaps.
yeah. I'm Catholic, so sometimes we do. Come on,
And could you describe your practice in one word? The way you help others?
empowering.
Empowering. Why empowering?
Um, because that's what I like to do. I don't want them to depend on me. I want people to feel strong and empowered and knowledgeable enough about themselves and their families to change their life for the best. And I want them from then on, like after they finish a cycle with me, to just say, "Well, that's it. I don't need anybody else. I can read labels myself. I can research myself. I can nourish myself."
So that's your goal. It's like,
Yeah, because the thing is that we're used to that. We're used to depending on someone, a therapist, a coach, a doctor, a lawyer, someone. I don't want that. I want them to leave me, knowing that they can always call me if they need me, but that they're cool. I learned that even from my homeopath. I remember when she said, I don't want you calling me every 5 minutes whenever Matthew gets sick. And I was like, "You need to help me. You need to." And then I started reading about it, and now I never call her. I never bother her, not because I don't love her. I love her. She's fantastic. But because it's my health, it's my son's health, it's our family. We take care of it. We don't need to depend on stuff. We are empowered.
is it easy now that you are away from your culture? It's do you see a difference?
I don't know. I've been out of Venezuela for 9 years. Um, and my mother for, no, 8, and my mother for almost 9. And I don't think that you ever leave it. You never leave your culture. I still do my makeup. I don't do it every day. I don't do it every day. I did it now. But it's important for me. I think there are some things that are embedded in me, and that's going to be very difficult. And you know what? The thing is, I don't want to change it. It's like my husband says that he says, there are moments like, you're so Latina, you're so Latina, so Caribbean and feisty and there are moments that you're so English, I get so like righteous indignation, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And that's it. That's me, right? I think that the hardest part now is when I look at my family, my friends, and the people there, and I don't get it, because it hits me. Oh my God, I'm so different now, and I go, oh, will I ever be able to go back there? That's the hard part.
Like, but I meant like in besides your personality or who you are, about the culture. Like if you try to help someone from the same culture, well, to think, because I have friends from Venezuela too, that how they put so many value on how they look.
Yeah, I think it's easier for me to understand to understand that, and relate, and also it's easier for me to tell them that they don't have to live that way. It is freaky. It is very freaky. I, when I was pregnant with Matthew, we always thought that it was going to be a boy, but my biggest fear would be for him to be a girl. Because of that, I thought, I just don't want her to ever have to experience the ridiculous amount of stupidity that we put with when it comes to our physical appearance. And now I'm pregnant, and I don't know, but we all think that it's a girl, and all I could think of is piercing the ears. In Venezuela, girls come out with the ears pierced, and I always say, well, would you do it? That's what you do. Yeah, you do it. And when we talk about Matthew's circumcision and stuff, my husband was like, well, you don't do it. You leave it. You don't mess with their body. It's their body, and it has to be whole. And if he wants to be circumcised later, we'll do it later. And it makes sense. And then I started researching about it, and it makes sense. Piercing the ears is the first time that I realized that I'm against the culture, because last time someone asked me, if it's a girl, are you going to pierce her ears? And I was like, no, it's her body. And it was such a, I don't know, ice bucket in my face realization that suddenly I'm like, I'm gonna go against something that is really into my culture. So yeah, I'm gonna see how we're gonna navigate. If it's a girl, I'm gonna see how we're gonna navigate the whole makeup and waxing and breast surgery, which girls do so early, and plastic surgery in general, and wanting to be a mix. I still say things like that. The other day I was telling Phil, if it's a girl with your height, my face, your blue eyes, she's gonna be Miss England. And Phil is like, really? That's what you're wishing for our girl? But it comes out, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to explain, I was like, well, the UK, like England has never had you guys have very little Miss Universe crowns. I mean, we can, and he's like, we don't care. It's not like that. And I'm like, you have to care a little bit. Come on. So that still comes out of my mouth, and I go, okay, I better not say that.
Well, it's good. It's going to be interesting how you manage. At least you're not in Venezuela, and you're not in Britain, so it's a different place away from both.
And I'm happy for that. I'm happy because I think that childhood gets it's so quick in Venezuela, at least. Girls and boys go from being kids to being sexualized objects, teenagers, and the culture is very sexual. And I'm actually happy that we're away from that, because if I have a girl, I don't want any of that. I don't want the short shorts when they're like 10. I don't want high heels at 7. I want a little girl for as long as I can keep her.
Yes.
So yeah, in that I'm happy.
Okay. Well, thank you for the interview.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to add something else?
Oh, well, I cannot wait to read this book. I cannot wait to get a lot of people with their hands in them. And I do hope that this gives us chance to empower more people, to support more people, and to start a movement to change the world, because I think that's what we're doing. Let's just make humans amazing again.